Hey, it might help to turn the microphone on. You want some treats, little dude? Or you little off-axis ass? You and your little off-axis GoPro, yo, you want a treat? 420? Oh shit, time for a treat on 420. Well, not anymore, but you still get a treat. And that's pretty much, yeah. Yeah, let me just give them to you all. Give them all to you, because that's that for that. Ooh. Little treatsy dude. Oh, fix the GoPro, little dude. You off axis and shit. You all off axis and shit. And we don't need that countdown anymore. Oh, and we don't need the music anymore either. Oh, shit. So bear with me today. I'm having a rough morning, but I'm here. And so is my little pea. I got my little pea out on camera, you know, because I know everybody wants to see my little pea. Ain't that right, little pea? Well, my not so little pea, yo. My little pea is big. I'm sorry, I'm fucking dumb. But, yeah. Hey, little pea. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. Everybody cheer. Everybody cheer for my little pee-pee. Jesus Christ. Simmer down. Simmer down. It's just the pee. Oh, shit. So this week has been great, bad, and weird. Venom was fucking awesome. Venom was the Let There Be Carnage was telling me my live video is gonna start. My live video has started, fool. My live video has started. Dun dun dun. I know because I'm in the live video. But Let There Be Carnage was awesome. That's one of those, you know, rare examples where the sequel is just like a million times better than the first one. 100. I had my doubts about Woody Harrelson playing Carnage, but Woody Harrelson is an amazing actor, so, you know. But he killed it. You know, he definitely killed it. And I'm not even, you know, if you don't already know about it, I'm not even going to spoil the post-credit scene except just to say, you know, that as great as the movie was, the post-credit scene was the best part. But it was a really, really fun movie. And, yeah, so we got a few videos done that I guess you've already seen. They're already up on the channel. If you haven't seen them, they're up on the channel and you can go watch them and shit. And yesterday, I forgot to post as I was starting to film, but we did film the Daily Dabbers Club, which was awesome again. And I got an additional box on accident, sort of, because there was an issue with my debit card at the beginning of the month when I was being charged for the Daily Dabbers Club and the payment wouldn't go through, so I had to switch up the debit card, and then it ended up going through later after I switched the debit card, because instead of it being able to switch the debit card on the same thing, for some reason it ended up creating a second subscription. So I ended up being charged for two Daily Dabber Club subscriptions. And Andrew sent me a message and he offered to send me a refund. And I said, well, you know what? Because I knew that I'd have the $30 left over anyway, and was thinking about, spending that $30 on something else for the channel, because it's Halloween and shit. And so I just had him switch it over to a bong box. So we're gonna get a bong box this coming week too, and or well, I guess this week. So that should be here Tuesday, but tomorrow I've got the cleaning people come, and it's going to be an intensive cleaning session, because I've got an apartment inspection coming up on Tuesday, and so we've got a lot of work to do to get this place presentable for such an inspection, and hope to God that they don't have a problem with all my bongs and shit all over the place, because I'm still paranoid about that shit. And but yeah, so I'm really not going to be able to get anything done for the channel tomorrow. So what I'm planning to do is Tuesday morning I'm going to get up, and because my inspection's not till like 3 or 4 o'clock, something like that. So I'm going to try to get up tomorrow morning, or Tuesday morning, excuse me, and edit the Daily Dabbers Club and get that uploaded, taken care of. And then by the time they finish doing my inspection Tuesday, I'm hoping by that point UPS will have already come and dropped off my bong box, so that maybe I can just go ahead and do an evening filming there. Go ahead, film the bong box. And then if that goes as planned, I might wait another day to edit it, because I might go ahead and get up Wednesday, and instead of editing, I might go ahead and film that next Stoney Shaman's Corner. I haven't fully decided on that yet, but that's what I'm thinking. And then Thursday I could get up and edit the bong box, and then Friday edit the Stoney Shaman's Corner, and then hopefully after that go over some of that other stuff that I had filmed, like, was it last month or whatever. And I still got all of those videos to film, or to edit, of the little smoke sesh videos and put music over top of. I've still got like probably 7 or 8 of those videos. And then still to come this month, we're still got the Don't Eat the Gum, another $50 box, and the 420 goodie box, the $1.99 420 goodie box. So I don't have very high expectations for that 420 goodie box, because it's 420 goodie box, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna meet that it's gonna meet its value for $1.99. If it doesn't meet that $1.99 value, then they're doing something seriously wrong. P.S. I probably shouldn't even be saying this on a live stream, but you know what? Fuck it. I think their raffles are fixed. But I said it. I said it. There's a lot of places doing that. 98%, I'm guesstimating here, but I'm going to say 98% of the raffles and giveaways and all of that shit that you see on YouTube and with companies and shit is fixed. I think 98% of that shit is fixed. Right? Yeah, I'm happy that, that you were able to get onto that. I hope that everybody was able to get onto that $1.99 box, or everybody that wanted one, because Um, 420 goodie box is usually not worth that $29.99 every month. I'm sorry. There's been some exceptions to that. My first box was great, where I got the, I had it pulled down here. Yeah, here it is. Let me find the thing where I got the wake and bake pipe with the little eggs and stuff. That was a good box. But then that collapsible bong and, half of every other box that they had was just bullshit. Where's my thing, man? There it is. I found my thing. Congratulations. I found my thing. Yeah. And now on the flip side of that, their top shelf box, it was what I think was $80. I'd only gotten 3 or 4 of those, but those were usually worth the price. The first top shelf box I got that big Mr. Belvedere beaker in it, and thick as fuck and just classy, and I think that beaker was worth every bit of a couple $100 to be 100. That was actually a really, really good box. But those $30 420 goodie box, I mean, it's hit or miss, but it's way more misses. It's way more misses. That Jason pipe was pretty cool, but I wouldn't have paid more than $5 or $10 for that shit in a head shop. No fucking way, man. Yeah, it really is. And, they aren't, what do you call it? They're not opposed to using stuff from really cheap sources, and cheap stuff from China and stuff like that. That beaker was good, but I've gotten like vape pens and some random stuff like that out of the top shelf boxes that seemed like they were great at first, and then like stopped working in like 2 or 3 weeks. But the beaker was awesome. And there was another one that was ooh, pretty cool. That hooty hoo hooty hoo is on first. It's gonna be really hard to get to it, so let me just try switching from it over here and see if maybe if I move Frankie's thing here, if you can see this little bong. I'm afraid I'm gonna knock Deadpool over if I try to pull it off the shelf right now, but it's got like the little molecules and stuff down inside of it, and well, there goes Frank. Fuck it, I'll just fix all that shit later, but that was a pretty cool piece. I don't know that if I saw that in a head shop for $80, I probably would just leave it there. But it was cool. I feel like it was worth the $80 for that piece. Just not something I would have picked up on my own. But I guess they can't all be fat ass glass, That's why I like the fat ass glass business model, because I don't, aside from Halloween, I don't really care about themes all that much. I mean, sometimes the themes are cool, but but like Andrew has got a bunch of Halloween themed stuff from these, like this skull pipe here, and the monster rig I got in that $150 box, and the little skull dabber, and everything, you know. But it's built, you know, it's like Don't Eat the Gum. I sound like a broken record talking about that, but you know that it really is the thing I love the most about it, other than the fact that it's quality supplies, is just that it's built around me instead of being some theme that's mass produced for a whole bunch of different people. You know, each box that I order is built around me, and you know, so that is, as they say in the old book, you know, that's all gravy, baby. That is all gravy. Much of the shit. Puddles of gravy, gravy for me. Puddles of gravy, but it's not so free. Oh, whatever Mariah Carey said, it was something to those Dials effects. Um, I had wanted to try Hippie Butler's Masters Club. It was, I think, like $140 or something, but that was until Hippie Butler started going downhill. And then I saw some of the, YouTube unboxings of some of like the Masters Club concentrates boxes, and this couple ordered a Masters Club concentrates box that came with like this really, really nice beaker. The beaker was really, really nice, but it was an ice beaker, you know, in a concentrates box. Like, who the fuck is gonna use a beaker like that for concentrates? I mean, maybe there's people out there that will, but you know, and to be fair, I have tried that, but it's not, you know, the beakers don't make very good dab rigs. And when they started doing those ceramic pipes and shit, and it was like, I think like 3 months or something of ceramic pipes in a row, that was just like, you know what, I've loved Hippie Butler, I've loved my time with Hippie Butler, but you know, I'm not gonna pay $40 a month after month for shit like this, you know. I mean, I'm sorry to harp on that shit again, but you know, it looks cool, but it's trash. You know, that is fucking trash. And what cracks me up is watching some other YouTubers, you know, like open like that box or some other boxes, you know, with pieces like that, and you know, talk it up. Oh, this is so great, and blah blah blah. I'm like, I mean, whatever floats your boat and everything, I guess, but you know, trash. It's trash. It's kind of like, you know, I guess it belongs in this apartment, because this apartment sometimes feels like a trash compactor, just always closing in on you, you know, so maybe that piece does belong in here, because it's trash. Right. Oh, why did it not? There we go. Right? That's what the fuck I'm saying, you know? And what happened when Hippie Butler was, you know, including novelty pieces like this? You know, the sorry piece is amazeballs. You know, you can do novelty and still provide good function. That was the other one that they did the month that I dropped my Hippie Butler subscription. It was a piece that was just like this one, except that was shaped like a pineapple, that was still, you know, the same exact ceramic design. That was just trash. And then Elevated Stash followed up with this. You know, this is amazeballs. This right here is, quickly becoming one of my favorite dab rigs. It really, really is. And, it's amazeball. It's a really good example of having novelty, something that just looks really, really cool, but also smokes really, really good, And, like, Hippie Butler needs to figure that shit out. If they ever want me to come back, yeah, and I don't want that bullshit. But, where's the other stuff, I mean, like, that, I mean, that's technically a novelty thing, but, it works good. And, oh, yeah, the new one from Elevated Stash, that shit right there is amazeballs. And, I wish it had a male joint, but now that I've got a better female banger, and I'm going to be getting more good female bangers, that shit is cool as fuck. I never did try smoking flower out of it because I don't think I'm going to, it's just, I like my dab rigs. I'm actually to the point now where I'm actually, I think, dabbing more than I am smoking the flower. I still like smoking the flower, but, it's just, you take a nice dab and just space out for a half an hour before you realize that you were even going to smoke some flower, And it's just, my man! What's up, dude? And yeah, I mean, I think dabbing is just, I can't dab and go out in public. Well, hell, I was like about freaking the fuck out going to the movie theater after smoking that pre-roll last week, I went into the goddamn movie theater and my stepbrother was at the concession stand getting popcorn and drinks, and all that shit. And the lady working at the counter, like, looked over at me. And, like, I saw her and, like, kind of looked away and then, like, looked back and she's, like, just staring me down. I'm like, quit eye-fucking me, Put your eyeball back in your head, Like, got me fucking paranoid and, like, still on that same shit from the past 30 years, Oh shit, they know I'm high. Fuck! But, dabbing it's just like, I mean, of course, I don't have a tolerance either, so that just makes it worse, but, dabbing is just, sometimes I can't even do videos and shit when I dab because I start freaking out, I mean, not like freaking out in like, the psychotic way or whatever you want to call it, but, just geeking out, that antisocial thing. She was, I don't know what the fuck was going through her head. I think what was going through her head was, what the fuck is up with this dude? Of course, she might have been reading my shirt and shit because I had on that, somebody pass Shaggy to Baggy so he can roll Scooby a Doobie shirt and my little Slimer hat with Slimer hitting the bong and shit, so here I am, like, being paranoid, like, they're gonna know I'm high and I'm wearing, and that's the shit that I'm wearing. But it's, yeah. What I really miss is going up on the mountain and getting stoned, or going out on the river and getting stoned, all that nature shit. Man, I miss that. It's like I've been stuck inside this apartment for like the past 2 years. I might get like an hour of sunshine a month. Right. But that's what I want to do. I want to just go up on the mountain and I wish I was in better health like I used to be, or well, I was never in really great health, but if I was in at least the health that I used to be before that last pneumonia and shit. Well, not my last pneumonia, but the last big pneumonia. you know, but that I could go up on the mountain and hike trails and all of that good stuff. Like I can't do none of that shit anymore. But yeah, we used to do that shit all the time when I was growing up. I mean, of course, it wasn't Stoney picnics. I mean, I don't know. Maybe mom and dad were going off the trail and sparking up or something. I have no idea, but we used to go up there like almost every weekend. Mom and dad would buy season passes to the Skyline Drive up on the Blue Ridge Mountains, and we'd go by KFC and pick up a bucket of chicken and go up on the mountain and have a family picnic. You know, that was great. That's for living in such a uh, conservative, repressive area, culture, whatever you want to call it. I am so glad that, my parents were hippies because they didn't raise me with those same kind of bullshit repressive values and shit. Yeah, I have the what do you call it? The thing where I forget the which is which. It's one is obtrusive and the other is obstructive. But I have like COPD is the kind of like the opposite of what mine is. I have the thing where you don't breathe out enough oxygen or whatever. I have trouble getting the air out basically, and but so my oxygen hangs really. I mean that's only since the pneumonia in 2017, but and my pneumonia's been like not low enough that I need to constantly be on oxygen, but it's been sub 95%, ever since that pneumonia in 2017. Right? Yeah, I mean that was how it was. There was a piece of time when I was really little that my mom had started getting sort of just, well, I don't even want to say brainwashed by the church because she was already involved with the church, but was getting to the point that it was getting a little bit radical. Like when she grounded me for writing Xmas on the box of Christmas decorations, and Jesus' name wasn't X. And I'm like, well, his name wasn't Christ either. Shit. you know. But thankfully, she had a falling out with that church and, got back to more of her hippie roots. Uh, it's something like that. I don't understand it completely to be 100, but the doctor explained it to me. It was funny after that pneumonia, and I went back to see the pulmonologist and or the what do you call it? Not the pulmonologist, but like the intake nurses who, like they run like these little tests to measure your breathing and stuff before you see the actual pulmonologist, and her official diagnosis, what she told me anyway, was that I had old people lungs. and but the way my primary doctor explained it, that was the way that my primary doctor explained it to me, that I was my lungs have trouble getting the air out, and but I've been getting pneumonias and stuff since, well, I didn't have pneumonia as an infant. As an infant, I had a severe case of asthmatic bronchitis. And then every year since then, up until a couple years ago, I've had at least one pneumonia every year. And there's been multiple years that I've had multiple pneumonias. And in 2010, I actually had 6 pneumonias that year. And part of that was because there was black mold growing in the walls of the apartment. But, a whole nother wave. But I've had a shitload of pneumonias, and it's just taken its toll. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. uh, you know, that was honestly, I think, one of the best things that ever happened to my mom was having a fallout with that church because and there I have family actually that still go to that church, so I'm not gonna talk too much shit. But I mean that was a long fucking time ago. We're talking, more than 30 years ago because I know I wasn't even close to 10 by the time she left that church. I mean, when we were going to that church, I was still like not even in the the Bible class or whatever. I was in like the daycare class playing with like the little toy stoves and shit. That's how young I was at that church. But um, but my mom was always very nature heavy, and that rubbed off on me too. We also used to go camping all like, well, I mean, we went camping a lot of different places. We would make a regular habit of camping trips, but my granddad Poppy owned a strip of land up on the mountain in Highland County, and we would go up there a lot and camp out because we had our own private property basically. I mean, it belonged to Poppy, but it was for the family, So we'd go out there. We had the was it the Jackson River, I think, that flows through there, and so we had our own little strip of the river and woods across the thing and deer, and the tip of the mountain is like across the road from us, and it just looks like a hill, from that point, and it was awesome. Yeah. And I can't do like I'm really really careful, because uh I don't want to lash out against Christians because I don't think that Christians aren't inherently bad, and I think my problems with the church is mostly a political thing within churches that happens. And I don't think that they're really even carrying the actual messages, the message of what Jesus taught. But that's, why I just can't do church now. I mean, I'm not a Christian anyway, but, it's hard for me to sit through a service that sits there and talks about the importance of not judging people while sitting there and judging everybody that doesn't believe the exact same thing that they believe. And it's just, or, bashing the gays, or, once upon a time it was bashing the blacks, or bashing the Hispanics, or the Asians, or, or, further back, whatever, the Irish, you know. And it's just so much hate coming out of there nowadays. It's just, I'll leave it the fuck alone. I don't know what the hell is afterlife, or if there's something afterlife. The only thing I know about death is that, the only thing I know about what happens after we die is that the calories rise up out of our bodies. So if we're buried in the ground, we feed the soil. That's it. Sermon over. Sermon over. Yeah. You know, I mean, that's, you know, I get that, you know. Like, I think, um, the Jesus that I see described or whatever in, you know, text is, seems like he was a good dude. You know, if you strip away, you know, the religion part of everything completely, you know, you're talking about a guy who spent most of his time hanging out with the sick and the poor and helping the sick and the poor and feed people that were hungry and telling each other to love each other and to take care of each other. And, you know, what was, you know, the saying, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. You know, don't fucking sit there judging each other. And, you know, my big problem is when, you know, the stuff comes out about, you know, the stuff comes out that's homophobic, transphobic, or racist, you know, any of that shit. And it's just like, you know what Jesus said about gay people or trans people? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. You know? That's why I just follow the path of the medicine wheel. You know, I'm walking around the circle of life, and um, you know, trying to get through it the best that I can, and trying to, uh, if I can, help other people figure out the best way they can, if that makes sense. Um, but I always try to be careful because I could come off as preachy and maybe even condescending, and I totally don't mean to be any of that stuff because, especially when we're talking about religion and everything, everybody's going to have different views and see things in a different way, and that's cool, you know. That's beautiful because, you know, that old cliche, I guess, is, you know, that it'd be a boring world, excuse me, if we were all the same. And it would be a boring world if we were all the same. It really would, you know. Yeah, well, fuck you, phone. No, not really. I'm just fucking with big buttons over here. I'm just fucking with big buttons. I hope my phone's up loud enough that you guys can actually hear that, but I don't know. I have no ideas. I am all out of ideas. But oh, I was gonna diverging a little bit. Um, I was originally planning to do something with these stickers for this live stream. I was what I was gonna do was let me switch over here. Well, after I let me get it situation. Um, whoa! I was gonna sticker up the new banger rack or the attachment rack, I guess, because it, you know, both slides too. But I don't have an X-Acto knife, or at least I don't know where my X-Acto knife went. So we're gonna have to put that off until I can get one up in here. Yeah, I mean it really is. I mean, and in some ways, damn it, in some ways, you know, I mean, the politics can be a good thing when it actually gets something positive done. But you know, the problem is that we get so stuck on what we already think most of the time that you just end up shutting people out when they try to come at you with any type of counterpoints. And I mean, you see that shit, uh, right? And, I mean, you see that shit all the time with like these conspiracy theories or something, and it makes it really, really bad because, I mean, there are obviously legitimate conspiracies that have happened and most probably are continuing to happen right now. But it gets so diluted because you get all of these obvious political or attempted political hit job conspiracy theories that have no water, no basis, and just right. And that's what I'm saying here is, like let take for example the Pizzagate conspiracy. Well, the Pizzagate conspiracy theory was obviously an attempt at a political hit job from the start because it focused on the Democrats. You know, I did not see a single Republican or anybody that was included in that Pizzagate conspiracy theory. So, when they, the dude, some dude took it upon himself to go bust up inside of this pizza shop that supposedly was running that underground sex ring or whatever from the basement of it. And so then the cops had to come get involved and they searched the place and looked at the blueprints, everything. No basement. No basement at all on that pizza shop. And the part where it turns into a real problem, though, what I'm getting at is that instead of, people who followed that conspiracy theory, trying to look at it differently in light of the new evidence, they just double down and make up all kinds of excuses. Like, come on, man. Right? I don't know. I've seen a lot of stuff about, cannabis and the corona. And, yeah, I mean, but I've seen a lot of stuff about, weed and the COVID. And there's so much fake or false and misinformation about treatments for coronavirus out there that it'd be nice if weed was, because weed is a miracle drug for like literally just about everything else almost, so it would be really nice if weed could treat COVID too, but I think it's a bunch of wishful thinking. Honestly, well, back to the religious thing, is like I was posted up, I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of people, so I'm not even going to mention the one specific person because I've seen a bunch of people saying shit like this that, stuff like, Jesus is my vaccine and things like that. And I'm like, so a Christian dies and goes to heaven and asks God, like, well, why didn't you save me from COVID? And God says, well, I sent you a vaccine, dumbass. It's... I'm not ashamed to admit I got the vaccine. Shit, I was ready to get that vaccine. As a matter of fact, I need to go get the booster, and I'm ready for that too. Cause as many pneumonias as I have, if I got COVID, baby, and that went into pneumonia, I'd probably be a goner, 100. And I'm 100. Initially, this is probably going to sound a little dark or whatever, but I'm ready to go. I'm ready to die. I'm not afraid of dying, but at the same time, I don't want to leave that grief behind for my family and loved ones. you know, so I used to seek it out. I used to seek out the end of my world. I'll just say it that way. Suicidal for life, but um, it got to a point that, as I started getting older and I guess more empathetic, um, you know, yeah, I just, when I think about what's the grief that's going to be left behind for my family and friends and everybody, that's a, yeah, that's exactly where I got the that analogy from. Because my mom used to tell me that same analogy and or fable or whatever you want to call it. When I was young about God sending the boat. And everything, and they're like, why didn't you save me, God? And like, I sent you a boat, fool. Get on the boat. Yeah, just if there is a God, goddess, or gods plural, or something that we just can't fathom, whatever. And but uh, if it works the way that people think that it works, then if God has this master plan, then everything that's meant to happen is going to happen. So if there's a vaccine that God created man to create, then that vaccine is God's creation, right? I can't be the only one who sees it that way. And that goes for bad things too. We have a strong, I'm sorry to ramble on this, but we have a strong tendency to, when things are going not the way that we want them to, or bad things happen, I guess, we always have a tendency to want to blame somebody or something, or, you know, uh, we always want to be able to point the finger at something and say, well, it's this guy's fault, or, it's this thing's fault. This is why, and sometimes there isn't anybody or anything to blame, and sometimes it's ourselves to blame, and, so that's why I am convinced that, I'm strictly agnostic as far as, what lies beyond this world and all of that stuff goes. But I firmly believe that if there is a God and there is a heaven, there is no hell. I don't need a scapegoat. Right. And, they, if you like read the Bible in the Old Testament, like it's full of people questioning God, like constantly. Yo, what's up? It's like that was a fundamental part of it, like what's his name, the angel that came down to Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like, God, why you want to blow these people up, Like, let me go down there and chill with a couple of them, maybe like, chill out, God. I mean, meow. but, but maybe sometimes, I'm just saying, maybe sometimes instead of, well, let me rethink how I want to say that for a second. Uh, maybe instead of trying to blame a devil or a Satan or, looking for a scapegoat, we should just look for ways to, make things better for ourselves. All right. Hey, yo, who this dude with the cross, yo? I don't know him. I don't know him. It was like me and Fat Rock on that little jam. Thank you, dude. We got to the end of the fucking track, and I'm playing guitar, and Fat Rock's going off. He's like, yo, who this dude playing guitar? I don't know him. I guess that was one of those things you had to be there, but good times. And on that note, I'm gonna make things better for right here, and come down to right here, and toke a little gravy stuff. Cheers. Hee ho 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 ho! I just smoked you all out. Ooh. You like my little you like my little snaky? This this fucking bowl on this fucking thing is deep. Deep. Thank you. Actually, no. I think the no, I say the I think that the reason I lost the weight, I lost some weight. I was at 330, and now I'm down. I've been bouncing right around 265 for several months now. But I think part of that is the metformin that they put me on when they checked my A1C and saw that I was like just over the diabetic front lines or whatever you call them, and so they put me on metformin, and I've been taking that every night since then, and plus then getting off of the Seroquel, which was the Seroquel was the whole reason I started gaining weight to begin with. So, I'm on the metformin and I'm off of the Seroquel, but I'm still eating, the grilled chicken isn't so bad, but frozen pizzas and spaghetti. I have pescetti night fairly often because you can't fix a small pot of spaghetti. It doesn't work. It's 2 nights. It's 2 nights at a minimum every time, and so and sometimes I'll do the air fried chicken and taco nights. I kind of have just those are my few go-to meals. I just kind of rotate through, and then I'll sit around eating candy, potato chips, and popcorn. So if you want to call that a diet, I'm probably dying, but thank you. That was a very long-winded explanation. I would stand up and give you a little twirl and show you, but no. Thank you, dude. That's yeah, I don't want to go back. I used to be like I was Skeletor, or Right? You know, I used to be, as I put in the, was it the last video, you know, skull a dummy. That was me. I was, up until about the age of 23, like I couldn't get over 150 pounds. It just like it wasn't gonna happen. And then I got on the Seroquel, and I started, you know, by the time I hit 23 was, and then I got off of, well, I wasn't on meth the entire time. I was on the Seroquel. So, I mean, I just want to point that out, that I was still skinny as shit before I got strung out on meth and everything. So the meth made it a little bit worse, but, you know, I already had a metabolism problem. But anyway, so I got clean from the meth, and then, you know, was continuing to take the Seroquel. And I started putting on a little bit of weight. I'm like, all right, I got up to like 170. I was like, all right, that's pretty gravy. I got up to about 200. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling good. And next thing I know it, you know, I'm like I'm up to 330 fucking pounds. Like, oh shit. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you halfway. I can't do a swirly swirl on this chair because this tight is so back, or this back area is so tight, but ooh, that's about the best I can do. But, you know, I'm still about 7 months along, though, you know. Ain't about a doubt it. I'm still about 7 months along. And where's my little pee-pee? I'm trying to show off my pee-pee and, like, I can't find it. Where you go, little pee-pee? See, he got his treats and ran. I knew he was going to do that, which is why I created that lower third. Mr. P, go on. Eat the treats up and run. Go on, eat the treats up and run. If I can get back to the chat here. Hell yeah. See, that's where I want to be. I want to be back to about 200. You know, I don't want to go back to being skinny like I was growing up. But I also don't want to be to where I'm at now either, you know. I have fun with it, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, and I'm not offended by fat jokes, obviously. You know, and, you know, I poke myself. I mean, I poke fun at myself, you know, but, you know, I would like to get right back. I would like to get back down to about 200, maybe 190. And I was there several years ago. I had was I was actually doing really, really good. I was working out like 3 times a week at the gym. Started with physical therapy, and then moved on to once the physical therapy script ran out, you know, started going into just working. And thick like gravy. uh, but yes, I was working out 3 times a week and living off of bottled water and turkey sandwiches. And you know, that was side note on that. You know, both my favorite and my least favorite exercise at that whole gym was, or during the physical therapy part, was the what do you call it? The weight sled. You know, where they throw like all the sandbags on that big sled, and then you have to push it down the hall and then pull it back and like do that shit on your tippy toes 10 times. And man, that shit was exhausting. I hated that shit, but god damn did it work. And so I digress. But you know, I was back down to about 200 pounds, and I was doing really really good. And then I took another concussion, and I was throwing away the box from a one of those like little air hockey table things I had gotten with some Christmas money, and was throwing it into the dumpster behind the apartment building, not paying attention to my surroundings, and just thrust my head up against the corner of the dumpster. And it was like gravy, baby. So, I couldn't really work out after that, for a while, because every little bit of light hurt my eyes, and it was. I fell back out of my routine, and then the next thing I knew, I was eating devil food cake and Swiss cake rolls, and um, drinking sodas again, and just all fell back, fell down completely. I've never really recovered from that, and now, again, since that pneumonia in 2017, um, it's to the point where it's almost like I'm just not healthy enough to get healthy, if that makes sense. If I had more space in this apartment, then I might try to do some of those what's it called, the sit down and tone up exercises. It's basically a routine where you sit in a chair and do like side squats and or crunches or whatever you call them, those motions, and use hand weights and all of that stuff. That stuff actually works, but it's you need a little bit of space, and space is one thing I don't have in this apartment. I might have more space if I didn't have so much stuff, but my stuff ain't going nowhere. This is Timmy G's stuff and stuff, The and stuff is because I got stuff and more stuff. I'm not hurting on stuff, is what I'm saying. My stuff is not hurting. But I am, well, actually, I was going to say I'm not hurting from my little snake bites, because my little snake bites are, gravy, baby. They're like little snake kisses and shit. Let's get some of that snake kissing. Ooh, gravy. I'll do that again, though. Ooh, shows. Ooh, refresh. Yeah, that guy. I mean, I think so. I mean, and I don't want to, I don't want to seem like I'm harping over, the struggles that I've faced and, hardships that I've dealt with, because there's plenty of people out there that have had it way worse than me. I knew a dude at the old apartment building I lived at before I moved here was strictly for disabled and senior citizens. And there was a guy there that used to sit outside smoking every day, because they started making a smoke outside. And right, that would not go so good. That would be not so much gravy. But he was a basically a Vietnam vet, and got both of his legs and his arms blown off. You know, all the shit that I've been through is nothing to what that guy went through. I faced my own wars and shit, and street stuff and, all of that. But what that dude faced is just something that I can't fathom, you know. But, ooh, I think this really needs a stir. I think this needs a good stir, baby. Uh, but you know, I mean, in a to a very large extent. Well, I mean, not even a large extent, a total extent, because we all go through stuff, and you know, we've all got our own battles to face. Um, oh, refresh. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not really trying to downplay mine. It's just, you know, I just try to, you know, keep it in perspective because, um, if anything, you know, it's kind of like a coping mechanism, because, you know, just to remind myself that no matter how bad it seems to me, that, you know, there's always somebody out there who's dealing with worse, and to be grateful, you know, for what I have, and um, for my opportunities and everything, because you know, I'm blessed. I've been through a lot of shit, but goddamn, am I blessed? You know, uh, I've got lots of stuff to play with. I've got nice light or decent lighting. I've got pretty decent cameras to come on here on YouTube and do all this stuff. I got this nice video switcher, but more importantly than any of all of that shit, I have family and friends who love and support me and who I love and support. You know, because at the end of the day, that's the most important fucking thing in the world, in my humble opinion. Or not so humble opinion, because I do feel strongly about that. You know, nothing is more important than my family. My direct, immediate family, my extended family, my honorary family, my friends' family, my YouTube family, you know, all of that, all of you guys, as well as my blood family and the people that I grew up with, you know, we're all here. And, you know, I think that that's the most important. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is that love. And cheers to that. Snakey got love too, baby. So, you know, I mean, like, take, you know, my brain injury. And imagine, you know, I could imagine how much worse my life would have been after the brain injury, if, or even without the brain injury, if it's just my respiratory problems and shit that I've always had. Because if I hadn't have had the parents to care for me through all of that and hold me down, and you know, it could have been a lot worse. That's for sure. Yeah, it definitely is. That's um, I did not used to think the way that I think now. I mean, I've always been kind of, you know, deep, philosophical to a point, and but you know, my empathy and overview of things changed with time. You know, especially after Mom's passing. You know, that really woke me up and made me see things a whole lot differently. Uh, you know, there was a point, if I'm going to be 100, 100, you know, in my childhood, that if I did something bad, I didn't feel any guilt about it at all, unless I got caught. And you know, it was like that through my teenage years for a large part too. And now that I'm, you know, almost a 44, 16 going on 44 years old, um, I really, it's like the complete opposite of that, because I think of the shit that, my parents had to deal with me, and, all the stuff that was going around and dealing with my problems and my confusions and my episodes and everything. And I'm like, it makes me feel like shit almost, just because, like, um, I feel bad about it. Like the story I told about the wrestling with my cousins in the brain injury video. I feel so bad about that. I didn't, I mean, to be fair, I didn't understand the difference between shoot wrestling and play wrestling, as they called it. Nobody had taught me that. But um, still, you know, yeah, just watch out for those cannabis withdrawals. Ooh, I'm sorry, I've been seeing a lot of shit about that, and it's just like LOL, cannabis withdrawals. Like, somebody boo this man. But no, serious withdrawals. Yeah, you're right. Because going through the withdrawals on the meth was a bitch, and going through the withdrawals from medications was bullshit. And I watched one of my friends. I'm sorry, I was about to name drop. I'm glad that I caught myself, because yeah. But anyway, he was strung out on heroin, and I saw him dealing with withdrawals firsthand, where he couldn't get anything basically that night, and was like curled up in a corner, fucking bawling his eyes out. I'm like, holy shit balls, man. Thank you, dude. It does, to a point. I don't think of that. Talking is the only way of getting through something. I don't think that talking about things should be the exclusive way of getting through things, and dealing with things. But I think it's a very important part of dealing with and getting through things. Sometimes you have to talk about it and take some actions on it. But talking definitely does help. Yeah, I can see that. When this particular friend, when growing up, was strictly hippie dude. Love everybody. Fighting should never be an option, and you know all of that hippie shit. And we were in the day program together one time, and he confided in me and said that he honestly just wants to do heroin until it kills the pain, and till there's no more pain and he just dies. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a hell of a 180. you know like, why didn't anybody tell me my ass was this big, turned around kind of shit. um I love dude to death. The last I heard from him, I think he's stayed clean. But it's is getting clean is the easy part. It's staying clean that's the hard part. Um, you know, it's you know, and that's one of the reasons is because of the withdrawals. And you know, I know with meth it's a lot different than heroin, obviously, but you know, I spent most of my withdrawal period from the meth detoxing in a jail cell. So it was, you know, there was like no way I could really get out of it. You know, I was in that jail cell, and that was nothing I could do. Um, but I'm really glad that it happened, you know, because um, well, I mean, I don't even really have to say it because we know where that ends. Right. And yeah, I mean, this is, you know I've talked about this numerous times when we start talking about this stuff. Dun, dun, dun. I'm talking about it again, you know. The way that they, you know, tried to drive me through that, you know, weed's not going to help you. That's just going to make things worse. Or the thing I heard in NA so much was, you know, you're just substituting, you know, you're just substituting one drug for another. A drug is a drug is a drug is a drug. While they lined up at the fucking coffee machines outside on every fucking cigarette break and going home eating a pint of ice cream. And, like, you know, it's all fucking drugs. You know, everything is a drug. Even activities that we do outside are sort of a drug because they spark endorphins in our brains that make us react and, you know, set off chemical reactions or whatever you want to call it. You know, and it's, you know, so what you really ought to be looking at is if you're substituting, you know, what are you substituting for? What is the harm? You know, it's, are you, you know, when you replace your family dog, are you, you know, replacing the dog, or are you just dealing with the fact that you can't have that dog anymore, and so you're moving on and letting love be born again through getting a new dog, you know? Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I told this story a whole bunch of times too, you know, when I was sitting at home on house arrest, um, not supposed to be smoking weed, and you know, so I'm going stir crazy basically, you know, cabin fever or whatever you want to call it, you know, and then, you know, as soon as I started smoking weed again, it was gravy, you know, like look at me now. I've been basically stuck inside this apartment for the past 2 years now, and I've been fine. You know, if I hadn't been smoking weed this whole time, you know, I'm not even going to say what I probably would have done because who fucking knows? You know, I would be mad off. And, not well. You know, just not well. And it's medicine, you know, no matter how anybody wants to look at it, it's medicine. Right? I mean, it really is. And it's, you know, for me, it's the inner anxiety. It's not, you know, like my social anxiety, I feel like actually does get worse when I'm stoned. At least when I'm with people in person, and with dabs, it gets a little bit weirder, like doing these live streams and stuff. But, you know, when I'm like out, like at the movie theater, and the lady at the concession thing is eyeball fucking me, you know, uh, like I can't do that. That social anxiety does not get better with weed for me. But the inner anxiety is a completely different story, And the fits, for me that was a big thing, was the fits, and just um, freaking out, and throwing a glass up against the wall, and you know things like cutting, and everything. And I had somebody, I'm not going to say who, but somebody got on me for talking about that, in the history of cutting and everything. But I'm trying to be 100 100. I was a cutter, and in the 15 whatever years now that I've been smoking on a daily basis, I haven't cut myself, I haven't hurt myself at all, I haven't purposely broken anything. It's gravy, baby. Yeah, it's just chilling. It really is. It's just smoke and chill. you know, I've, this that was how I discovered that weed was a good medicine for me, for mead. Gotta keep it rhyming, indeed, or whatever. But because when I talked about this already too, but when I started smoking weed, it was to get high. I wanted to get high, and but I found that I got high after being pissed off or nearly in a rage over something, you know, within 10 minutes. Like, what the fuck was I so pissed off about? Yeah. Well, I have most of my cutting scars are like all healed up, but I have a whole bunch of these now. But these aren't from like cutting, cutting. These are from a little asshole over here, wherever he went to, that likes to swat at people when they either stop petting him too soon or pet him a little bit too long. Just like, no, we're not having none of that. Swat! And don't know how to retract claws and shit. But yeah. But I mean, you'd be surprised, how things change and heal. But um, you never know. But it's hard. Yeah, I used to do some of that. I used to have this thing where I would put a cigarette out on my tongue. But me putting the cigarette out on my tongue was less about my stuff going on and more as a tool. Um, like when I'd be hanging out at the yeah, I'd be hanging out at the what they call it? It was the shaking at the station. Was a little thing they used to do in my hometown, and a band would come play every Thursday, I think it was, at the wharf parking lot, and I'd go down there, hang out, watch the girls dance, like, and I was down there with my sister one time, and these kids were like picking on her and bullying her, and it looked like it was going to escalate and just get out of control. And so I decided to pull out one of my party tricks and put a cigarette out on my tongue as um, a change of subject, if that makes sense. And it worked. Was it stupid to do? Yeah, it was stupid to do, but it did work, to be fair. Um, but, I used to cut myself, and, was like physically cutting myself was a completely different thing because it was about focusing my pain rather, you know, because the rage and the emotion that came with the rage was such a strong, different type of pain that by cutting myself, I was taking the focus away from that pain of the rage and the psychosis or whatever you want to, the anxiety, whatever you want to call it, and it it definitely worked. Yeah, right. I mean, it's the same thing with people who have what do you call it? Like BD B BDDSM BLT fetishes or whatever, and it's not about, where people have, fantasies, act out fantasies of um, force and things, and it's not that they want to really be forced to do anything. They're just, exploring that in a safe environment where they're in control of it. And in that instance, it is more of a safe space as long as you've got a safe word and a safe partner and, blah, 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 blah. Cutting, not so much. Cutting definitely not so much. Um, but, you know, with weed, I'm not cutting a goddamn thing. The only thing I'm cutting is that pizza pie or, that slice of pumpkin pie. Hey guys, let's get some pie. 100%. And, well, I guess weed puts me in control too. I mean, sort of, except that, well, I mean, I guess you can, once you get really stoned, you can tame the level of stoned. It's just harder to do anything to like totally make you not stoned at all. But I guess that's a whole nother wave and a whole nother ocean. And why would you want to? you know? Yeah, it really are. It's just, as a wise man once said, the mind is a terrible thing. Just that's it. Oh, thank you. Is more stuff. This was from Don't Eat the Gum. I don't know if he ever made more of these or not. This was, as he called it, the prototype when he sent it to me. But I fucking love it. Obviously. It's Tar Man. And if he ate the gum, apparently he liked it. He either just ate some really good gum or, took a nice bong hit. And he's like, my face is melting. And I'm fucking drooling on myself and shit now. God. Don't do it, Anna. He does usually, though. So usually in the goodie bag, he'll send you candy and stuff, and sometimes we'll have like actual eatable gum. But, you know, don't don't get the gum out of those old ass packs of like Dinosaurs Attack and like the Mork and Mindy cards, or you know, some old Star Trek cards, and you know, those old cards and shit, because that's fucking gross, man. You will not enjoy that shit at all. I've watched people on YouTube do it for the views, and you know, it does not end well. It does not end well. Never does. That gum is literally about as old as my old ass, or my old-ish ass, which is, you know, basically saying that's about 40-year-old gum. Hey, I mean, it's a free country. If you know, if you want to, you know, you can do what you like. But I'm definitely not gonna do it. Hell, I'm not even eating nothing on camera. I'm not eating a goddamn thing on camera. But yeah, it has. But it's honestly, you know, it's not worth any views that you get from it, because it's just gross. You know, it's 40-year-old gum. And unlike me, I'm like 40 going on about 14 or 15. You know, that gum is about 40 going on, you know, mummified. That's some mummified fucking remains in them packs. But, you know, Kevin understands that, obviously, which is why you know, he calls it "Don't Eat the Gum." And so he's nice about it and includes us candy inside the goodie bag that we can eat. You know, that's gravy, baby. That is gravy. Well, it's not gravy, it's candy, but, you know, that's pretty gravy candy. Do they make a gravy candy? That would be the most interesting flavor of Now and Later's ever. Now and Later gravy flavored. Let's have some gravy flavored candy, baby. Oh, I don't know though. I like gravy. I like candy, but you know, eh. Yo, what's up? What's up? I'm sorry, I got no voice today. uh, Fuck, I don't even know. I said it in a video one time, and I just kept saying it. And, you know, it sticks. Maybe one day it'll become something else. It's all gravy, baby. And one day it'll be all butter. Oh, that shit is smooth like butter and gravy, baby. Oh, them butt cheeks are smooth like butter and gravy. Thank you, yo. Look at all my beautiful stuff. The funny thing about that was, like, I looked back as soon as I did that and saw, as soon as I looked back, I was trying to look at the camera, and I saw Jack Torrance on the wall over there looking back at me. He was like, what's up? And, ain't it? It's all stuff and stuff gravy, baby. Yeah, yeah. I mean, because it kind of is, you know. Once it starts melting down and back into its oil form, you know, it's like gravy. It's just smoking that gravy, baby. That's why I trip myself up a little bit, because, you know, when I'll mention flour, smoking flour and taking a bong hit, and I'll say make some gravy or whatever, and then I stop and think to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, but that's flour. Flour don't really make gravy. Flour makes like ashes, and and smoke. But I guess smoke is gravy, baby, too. Smoke is gravy too. Thank you. You're gonna like my stuff. I'm sorry. I am immediately sorry. Cheers. Ooh. Yeah. White gravy. Dun, dun, dun. Hell yeah. Thank you, my dude. I appreciate it. Oh shit. We got about 20 minutes left to go, too. Let me do that again. Oh, baby, 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 baby. I want to go up on the mountain, like, tonight. Yeah, well, I mean, I've had the drop proof bong for a while, but I got the, where is it? Oh, right here. Oh, over here. I got this bowl slide in that, $50 accessories box from Fat Ass Glass. That shit is fucking dope. That shit is the fucking hotness right there. Ah. Hell yeah, I appreciate it, bro. I hate it. That shit, and even though, it was an accessories box, he did include a pipe. Uh, this little Scully skull and a little bowl on the bottom. Oh shit, I still need to clean that back out, but yeah, that shit is fucking dope right there, man. That whole box was fucking phantasmal and shit. It's phantasmal. Yeah, he's got several different designs on there, and on the Fat Ass Glass website, and they all look good. And what I told him when I ordered the box was because that was something that I did sort of specifically request. But what I said was, the two things that I really requested specifically outside of just making it a box focused on accessories instead of a rig or a bong, was that I wanted one of those bowl slides with the novelty. And I said, the snake head, the cat, the octopus, the skull, they all look really cool. So in essence, basically, I was saying, surprise me. And that, I wanted another one of these skull dabbers because, oh shit, I got a hair on it. You son of a bitch, Humphreys. You son of a bitch. That's alright, I'll clean that off later. But, this is the third one of these that I've had, so hopefully I won't break this one. But, it's that good that I could have two of them, break them, and I still want to get another one to replace it because, it's got the pointy end on a scoop. It's got the pointy end on a scoop. So not only does it look really, really cool, and it's got the carby carb on the other end, but, it works well with saucy, sticky consistencies as well as crumbly, not as sticky consistencies. Ain't it? I don't think that it is, but that's the first thing. If you go back and watch that video, when I pulled this out, that's the first thing I said was, and we got because that's the first thing that popped into my mind. I don't think it's specifically supposed to be necessarily Mars attacks, but it definitely looks that way. You know, it looks like it, and it's gravy, baby. Well, okay, it's a bowl, it's a pipe, but you know, it's a pipe for white flour gravy. Oh shit, I almost forgot. Let me whoa. And oh shit. Oh shit, I knocked it all up out of balance. I still don't know where P went to. And his camera's all like off axis now for whatever reason, but I meant to do, whoa shit. I meant to put these on like at the very beginning of the video and never did. So let me just pause out of that and let you look at Barb hanging out in the upside down. And come back. I guess the joke isn't as funny now because... Oh, I hit the wrong thing. I bet you guys were looking at that the whole time, weren't you? I just fucked it all up. I fucked the whole thing up, but I'm googly eyes. How you doing? Yeah, that's... Mine slowed down a lot. Well, obviously, but, you know, it's... Then, I'm sorry, I can't see these fucking things. But, you know, the... I wish that I could afford to do boxes the way that I used to do boxes. Like for Mega Month next month, there's, you know, it's not gonna be nothing close to like what it's been the past 3 years. But it's, you know, we're gonna have some fun regardless. But you know, especially now that, you know, I figured out a better format for the show and everything. So not every single video is going to be an hour and a half, 3 hours long, you know. The degree to which I've shortened these videos, you know, I think I did a pretty good job at that. If I'm going to be 100 and give myself well, I guess not a pat on the back, but, you know, a pat under the bed or on the bed or wherever he is back there. But if I could toot my own horns and whatever, you know, smack my own butt cheeks and shit, you know, I think I did a pretty good job getting the length of those videos down. And now that I've figured out how to edit without having to make the proxies and all that, and because I'm not doing the photographs and the B-roll and all of that with it, now it's, you know, speeding things up a lot. And you know, it's still like I shot the what was it, the elevated stash video. I had, I think, about an hour 45 worth of raw footage that I shot, and so I edited that down to, I think, like right around 20 minutes or something. And it was, you know, but it took me, I'm going to say, maybe 3-4 hours to finish it up. And then maybe another half hour to an hour on the thumbnail. But that's a far cry from having to sit there and create proxies for 6-7 hours straight just to create the proxies, and then, you know, doing all the photos and all that shit. That was a lot of work into that. And I just didn't feel like all that work was justified anymore. Just like the return of it, or the result of it, was cool. It was great, but I don't think it was worth all the time that I put into it. Thank you. I try to, and I mean, I have done some videos, honestly, where I just kind of phoned it in, I thought. But that's kind of one of the curses of being me, is just that I never know how I'm gonna do, from how I'm gonna be from day to day, and how I'm gonna feel. And so there have been days that I kind of force myself to do a video, and then I'm just like, and like, I still cringe like fuck going back and watching almost any of my old school videos. I'm like, you a cringy motherfucker. Goddamn motherfucker. And, yeah. Yeah. I thought about doing some gaming on here, man, but I fucking suck. And, ain't it, But, I've got a whole bunch of stuff, still in my video idea list. I haven't gone over that stuff recently, but I haven't really changed anything either. Uh, I have been diagnosed previously as bipolar, but I've gone through a lot of diagnosis over the years. I've been, some of the things that I've been diagnosed with that I either disagree with or am just unsure about, really, is like ADHD. I've been diagnosed as ADHD. I've been diagnosed as bipolar. I've been diagnosed as schizoaffective. And there's some other stuff, like personality disorder stuff that, and those ones, yeah. And supposedly, according to my mom, anyway, I was told, it was, somebody said that I was autistic, and I think that she misread a doctor's report, because I don't think that I'm really autistic. I'm on the spectrum, but I'm not really autistic. Uh, right. And oh, yeah, it's, well, I mean, when you talk about, diagnosing mental illness, is kind of like talking about Mephisto theories on YouTube, you know, about the MCU, like they did with WandaVision, and everything was Mephisto, 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 and it's all speculation. It's all a guessing game, is what I'm saying. I mean, it's an educated guessing game, but it's still a guessing game, because a lot of, you know, uh, yeah. Well, in my case in particular, um, you know, autism is in at its core a developmental disability, and what I have for sure is a developmental disability, because my head injury was when I was 5 years old. My brain was literally developing under duress. And so there was developmental delays and, all of that stuff. And, you know, so I am literally on the spectrum. But, you know, I think that the symptoms of that were being confused for autism, because the doctor's report that I know about, for sure, that mentioned autism, said that I displayed autistic characteristics. And you know, sometimes I think that my mom might have just read that and kind of, you know, ran with it a little bit, but you're right. Giggity. uh, right, yeah, I mean, and oh, hell yeah, welcome aboard, man. Welcome to the train wreck. And me talking crazy shit. Uh, but yeah, all, you know, there's a lot of the symptoms from a brain, and especially a childhood brain injury, is so similar to autism because they're both developmental disabilities. And so a lot of the same symptoms and characteristics are developed because, you know, you're not developing the way that a healthy brain is developing, if that makes sense. So, uh, you know, yeah. So you know, I mean, it's out there on the spectrum, but um, it could be, you know, I mean, if if anybody wants to call it autism, they're perfectly welcome to. You know, um, I'm not really that concerned about labels because, um, you know, labels are just labels, and you know, everything just is what it is. But yeah, so but anyway, you know, and then the same thing with post traumatic stress, and you know, dealing with growing up with all of the trauma and everything of the things going around and my health conditions and everything. You know, that creates a lot of stuff that looks like bipolar and or schizoaffective and psychotic and personality disorders. So it's, you know, it's really muddy. And I know you're talking to him, but you know, you all up on screen, baby. All right, that's what's his fucking name? Larry David. Label schmabels. uh, but yeah, I'm out there enough that I could talk about something as serious as, you know, growing up with a pediatric brain injury and then make a joke about Larry David a second later. You know? But a lot of times those things, though, they, you know, they just are what they are. The real damage of all of it just is, you know, when you misdiagnose things like that. A lot of times, you know, you attempt to correct the wrong thing, especially when we start talking about medication. Because then they start trying to throw me on antidepressants and antipsychotics. They had me on that Seroquel bullshit for, what was it, like 23 years. 23 years of that shit. Honestly, I think my homeboy had one of the best jokes ever. Was uh, two guys walk into a bar, and the third one ducks. Or two guys walk into a bar, one says "ouch." What was that shit I just saw on Facebook? It was if Dom Daddies made dad jokes, and it was cut to her, and she's like, "Daddy, I'm horny," and Daddy says, "Nice to meet you, horny. I'm Daddy." I'm that. Duh, duh. I ain't even gonna make the joke now because, yeah, duh, duh. I lost it. I lost my brains. Yeah, it's um, I always they had me on in my younger years. They tried me on lithium, lithobid, Tegretol, Prozac, I think Wellbutrin, and some other stuff, and they all, you know, built up a tolerance with all of them, and right, the only the worst thing for me than building up the tolerance after taking them for a while was they always stifled my creativity, and trying to write poetry or music or anything, just like I couldn't be creative at all on any of that shit. And it was either the lithobid or the tegretol. I had an accidental overdose on, where I was taking it at different times every day, and nobody told me that I couldn't do that on that shit. And so I'm taking it at different times every day, going on and, getting up, doing my paper route in the morning, and, um, and I wake up from my paper route one morning paralyzed. Like, just from the neck down. Nothing works. Nothing works. So mom gets up and goes and delivers the newspapers for me, comes back, I still can't move. And, so she manages to get me to the car, because she tried to call the rescue squad and there were no cars there. So she took me to the rescue squad and everybody was out on call. And so she was about pulling out of the parking lot to take me straight to the hospital when I started having seizures. And then, luckily, an ambulance pulled in right as I was having the seizure. And so, they got me out of the car and into the ambulance. And I don't really remember anything of that. But, I was told, that I flatlined, I was having seizures. I was, it was crazy. And it was just from taking it at different times every day. Because I was misdiagnosed, and given a drug that I didn't need. That I would have been just fine with a little white flour gravy. Yeah, all right. And then sit there and tell us all about the dangers of cannabis for the past 100 years. This is your brain on fried eggs with a side order of fucking bacon, And, they did the same thing for gay people and trans people and shit. Like, I have I'll just go ahead and say a great aunt, who was, pretty obviously lesbian. And, right? And, but she was very closet, self-hating lesbian. And, shut up, TikTok. And I don't care. But, but she literally had to go to school during a time where schools showed propaganda films sponsored by cigarette companies about the dangers of homosexuality. Right? I mean, true story. I had talked my mom into treating her blood pressure with cannabis, and she had quit smoking a long, long, long time ago. And but she was dealing with both migraines and what's it called, hypertension. I have the same thing sometimes, and your blood pressure spikes, and those two things just feed into each other, and you know they did it. Yeah, that was like back in the 40s and 50s. They did it, and as a matter of fact, there are videos. Their videos and shit exist on YouTube. You can actually go and watch those videos after the live stream, of course. But you can actually go on YouTube and watch some of those videos. But it's insane. But yeah, the I forgot where I was going with that, but it does get you in the short term. It does get you in the short term thinky brain. Uh, but you know, they wonder why people are skeptical of information, and you know people still fall into the traps of methamphetamines and coke and crack and heroin and shit like that, because look at crack. you know Crack has all the danger in the world, and all through the 80s, what did the fucking news people do? And the government lied out of their asses to us about crack babies and this and that. And like, just give us the fucking truth. Show us people are fucking dying out there and killing each other over fucking crack. You can leave the whole fucking crack babies bullshit out of it. Tell us the fucking truth. Right? The ironic thing is, like, my short term is terrible, but my long term, I remember being in diapers. I remember sitting at that fucking piano and my dad's hollow body guitar. I was, I think, a year old when Dad got rid of that hollow body. But I remember that shit. I asked him about it one time. I like, what happened to that hollow body you had when I was a little kid? And he's like, God damn, Timmy, you were like a year old when I got rid of that. But I remember that shit. Well, why did it came out and then it retracted? Right. Yeah, I mean, they lie. Or look at steroids. Steroids is a really, really good example, because what's the first side effect people talk about when they start talking about steroids, right? Is roid rage. Roid rage, Hulk smash. And it turns out the whole roid rage thing is probably bullshit, because every single documented case they have of somebody experiencing roid rage was in people that already had all these anger management issues. And all the while, it makes women grow, increase testosterone. It makes men increase estrogen, and make your balls shrink. All kinds of, lead to cancer, all kind of shit. And yet they still focus on the fear stuff. Roid rage, Hulk smash. Right? Yeah. Because they fucking lie to us constantly. And I'm not gonna say that they're not still lying to us about shit. I mean, hell, they've been lying to us about the war in Afghanistan for 20 years. you know? But at the same time, we have to remember that yeah. But at the same time, is we have to remember that the government and the media aren't the only people lying to us either. You know, we got other governments that are lying to us, trying to get to us through social media and fake news websites and all kind of shit. You know, we got lies coming at us in every direction. Well, right now, and it's, you know, it's been like that forever. And drugs are among the worst of it because, you know, it's not, because it gets to the point that it's not even a political thing anymore. It's just, I don't even know what the fuck you want to call it when there's danger in something and you insist on hyping up the dangers that aren't really there while ignoring the dangers that are there. You know, that's definitely doesn't follow that, what do you call it, the hypocritical or the Hippocratic oath, the Hippocratic oath, whatever, that, you know, that a doctor takes, you know, to do no harm and all of that shit. That literally goes against all of that shit. Right? You know who I trust is the Mother Earth. I trust nature. And not that I can predict nature or, you know, anything, or manipulate nature, anything like that. But, you know, the wheel is the wheel, you know. And that's one of the great things about real science, though, too, because, you know, unlike religions and politicians and shit like that, generally, scientifically speaking, you know, the scientific community will admit when they're wrong. Not always, but usually. You know, but I mean, the whole start to the scientific method in any field is that, you know, you either try to prove your theory wrong or, you know, you try to make it not, your experiment not work, if that makes sense, you know, or like stress testing for mobile DJs, since that was my thing, you know, you try to throw everything that you can at your system, practicing and testing, you know, so that you know what your limits are and everything when you go out into the field. Right? But, no lie, no lie, the human mind is nature. And nature is the human mind. Oh shit! You just got Platoed, fool! You just got Platoed, or whatever Socrates said. Oh shit! Okay, let's do a couple more bong hits and then get ready to roll out of here. I'm in too deep. I'm getting into the deep waters, baby. I'm getting into the choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Right? It really is. It's just, you know, count the rings on my, I was going to say my fingernail. That ain't right. On my fingertip. Just count my rings, baby. Cheers. Woo! Oh, baby, that's good gravy. That's good white flour gravy. Woo hoo hoo! No, we're gonna do it again. You know. And I'm sorry that my pee hadn't come back out. He didn't even. Let me cut over there real quick because, like, he didn't even finish off all of his treats. Let me try that real quick. See if, you know, I can remind him that he's got treats. Hey, little dude, did you forget about your treats? Here, let me turn off the microphone a little bit so I can yell it without, like, killing you guys or something. Hold on, give me a second here. I'm like actually try to get him just so he can come say goodbyes and shit. Oh yeah. He's in his safe space. Let me go try to find him here real quick while I cut to this. Oh, not that camera, this camera. Oh! Oh shit, I have knees. Well, not anymore. Oh, bye knees. Hey, little dudes. Hey, are you gonna come finish your treats? Yeah? Are you gonna come finish your treats? Oh shit, I can't walk. Only thing about me is the way I walk. Or don't walk. Alright, little dude. They're up there, little dude. You didn't eat them all. Come up and say goodbye and eat your treats. Why you not hang out with us, little dude? Are you too good for us? Are you too good for us, little dude? Excuse me. I mean, hi. You've already got treats up here, little dude. See? See those treats? You know where we eat treats. Well, thanks for coming coming back for our sign off, Emma. Emma Frost. There he is. See, little dude. You got all kinds of fans inside the TV, baby. Look, Mama, I'm on TV. Cheers, you guys. Hooty hoos! Hooty hoos in the boofish! Whoosh! Sploosh! So, yeah. Give me a second to catch my breasts. I like to catch my breasts by lighting up a cigarette. That's, that's definitely not helping my situation, but fuck it. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. And yeah, so we'll have, well, yeah, we should have new videos coming this week after I get this inspection and everything out of the way. And then, we're gonna, we'll be back next week, hopefully, So, yeah, I'm going to make this finish an hour long, but, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.